We're just two guys with one mission, and we've chosen to accept it for some reason. It's time to tell them what we mean, what we say.
Hello, we just watched Killer Nun.
Killer Nun.
From 1979.
Or 8, depending on which one you look at.
I was looking at Internet Movie...
DB.
Internet Movie Database.
From the end of the 70s.
From the late 70s. So, I imagine we're probably going to have very different opinions on this. I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was incredibly boring.
There were definitely moments of boring things. I think I was the one yelling out that things should be happening.
Yeah, I mean, it could be called Lull the Movie.
But in general, I quite liked it.
I mean, it was kind of creepy in the way that nuns are creepy.
Yeah, it was also sleazy in the way that Italian movies from the 1970s are sleazy.
Yeah, it was kind of sleazy.
It was also violent. It also had great music.
It had sporadic moments of violence.
And
some of the music was okay.
And in general, I would say... I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not even going to say it's good. What I am going to say is that I liked it.
Yeah.
Like a whole bunch.
Okay.
But then I think I like this kind of movie in general.
Yeah.
This period of...
Slow, sleazy
Italian movies that like... And compared to the last movie we watched, this was exceptionally well made with 2 glaring errors that I couldn't believe when they happened.
Yeah.
Like, everything else was like
to
set
the point
up
of
so
rewinding
well.
them about 10 times, yeah.
Yeah, like, when I saw these 2 gaffes, I was really like, wow.
Wow, that's weird.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
So, how do we describe this movie, Steve?
Well, it's some nuns living in a some sort of rehabilitation facility.
Geriatric hospital.
Geriatric facility, but not everybody's that old, like the dude with the crutches.
Yeah, that's the outlier, isn't it?
I think it's more of a rehabilitation type thing. So there's the kind of mentally disturbed, there's some physically disabled, and what I assume geriatric type people.
But it's a hospital, is what is the general situation.
And one of the nuns, who seems to be kind of the head nun at the establishment.
She's been there the longest.
She's been there the longest.
10 years,
yeah.
she says.
She had a brain operation for a tumour.
Yeah.
And has been on a certain amount of morphine since then. Turns out towards the start of the film, she runs out of her prescribed dosage.
And this is where the mystery starts. Because there's implication, there's a kind of whodunit element and a madness theme.
Yes.
With her, because her... First of all...
crimes happen. She's not sure if she's committing them or whether she's mad and is just...
a junkie.
Yeah, and in her mind assuming that she did it because the crime happened and she couldn't account for her whereabouts whilst crimes happened.
Well, there's kind of a feminist theme going on, and I'm going to explain why.
Yeah, please do.
Because all of the actions in the film come from women not being listened to.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when this woman, like Anita Ekberg, who I can't remember the character's name now.
Gertrude.
Sister Gertrude. Sister Gertrude has had this tumour operation, and she's been pleading with the head doctor that something's wrong and she needs some aftercare, like proper aftercare.
Yeah.
And he dismisses her.
Yes.
And so she kind of takes it into her own hands.
Yeah. To
basically medicate herself.
Yeah. So fuck it. I'm just getting back on the morph.
Presumably because she's been let down by the
patriarchy.
Not the patriarchy, but she's been let down by the system in place. There's a character, there's a male character who's like really on the side, who's talking with the guy with the crutches. Like he's a couple of times in the movie, he's like going, "Oh, we're never going to agree. You have to believe in the institutions of the country."
Yeah.
And actually, the institutions of the country have let this person down.
Failing. Yeah.
Yes. Sister Gertrude shares a room with
Sister Matthew.
Sister Matthew, who's a young girl with a short...
Elfin bob. Elfin cut.
Like
a...
What would you...
It's Betty Blue at the end of Betty Blue.
Yeah. She's got Betty Blue haircut.
Yeah, also possible Angelina Jolie in Girl Interrupted.
And in Hackers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's give a moment to think about Angelina Jolie in Hackers.
And we're done with that.
Yeah.
Carrying on.
I said a moment.
Yeah, I've tried to think of her in Gia. Actually, she's kind of got that haircut in Gia as well.
Sister Mathieu very early on declares her love for...
Yeah. Sister Gertrude.
Sister Gertrude.
Do you need me to write these two down?
No, I think we'll struggle, given that we literally just watched it.
Yeah. So they're roommates.
They're roommates.
It's
one day, Sister Gertrude is. She just needs to get out of. Why does she leave? Why does she go to town?
To go buy some morph.
Yeah.
So to go and sell a ring and to buy
she's going to
buy some morphine because she's run out and the doctor won't prescribe her anymore.
Yes.
So she thinks she'll sell a ring that she still owns, that originally she says she was going to give to Sister Matthew.
Yes.
But decides that she's going to go into town.
There was an implication that there was like a lesbian love affair going on,
yeah.
though we didn't see a lot of evidence from Sister Gertrude's side. Though we saw a lot of declarations of love and flaunting of physical attributes from Sister Matteo's side.
And what physical attributes they were.
Yeah, the nudity, sleaze, Italy in the 70s.
Beautiful. So she goes into town.
She goes into town, picks up a stranger because she's like, she gets treated like a woman for the first time in years.
Yeah.
And then so she decides that she's going to get a drink and pick up a man and have like anonymous sex with the person.
And she does.
And I forget how that ties back into the rest of the story.
I don't really think it does.
It's just
I think we're just supposed to assume that that's what happened when she was in town.
Yes, that
and
her
now
morals
now she's got some her morals are slipping.
That's her.
And she's got them off in, and now she's back in the nunnery or convent or whatever.
Yeah, her religious morals are slipping.
Convalescent home.
And then during a morphine binge, someone an old man gets murdered.
Gets chunked on the head with a lamp.
The body gets thrown out into the courtyard from a high window.
Yeah.
And the police think it's a suicide.
Yeah. At this point, Sister Matthew then goes to Sister Gertrude and says, "Oh, but I know that you did it, and here's this veil with blood on it, but I'll cover for you. I'll burn it and cover for you."
Yeah, so we, the audience, think that Sister Gertrude murdered the guy.
Yeah, and some sort of morphine haze.
Then the older doctor who's been ignoring her gets fired for being too old and replaced by a young doctor.
Dr. Lollapalooza.
Dr. Lollapalooza. He looks like he might have played in the Nine Inch Nails in 1994.
He has a 90s haircut that can only just be described as curtains.
Yes.
Yeah, so he turns up and Sister Matthew immediately kind of has his ear.
Yes.
She's already kind of working him at that point.
And Sister Matthew seems to be working a lot of the patients against Sister Gertrude also.
Yeah. Whilst coming up to Gertrude as her best friend.
Yeah. And after a very strange encounter during like a picnic day they have, Sister Gertrude sees one of the patients who's wheelchair bound have sex with one of the nurses.
Is she a nurse? No,
she was the nurse. She got arrested. Do you remember?
I thought she was another patient because she came back.
She was I think she was a nurse.
Okay.
Anyway, so after they have sex, a gloved figure shoves loads of cotton wool down his throat.
Yeah, suffocates him.
Yeah. And then the next day, they find his body in the grounds of the hospital with the wheelchair all tipped up, and the cops come and arrest.
They take away the lady who he sexed.
Yes. And then what happens?
Then Gertrude and Matthew start arguing with each other.
No.
Gertrude makes Matthew put on some silk stockings and say that she's the worst prostitute ever.
Yeah.
That kind of goes nowhere.
She was like, no, there's a power dynamic, but Sister Mateo basically does it because
she's to let Gertrude have the upper hand.
Yeah. So Sister Gertrude basically starts using her power in the relationship to basically boss Sister Matteo around. And then over dinner, Sister... Oh no, we've
missed the smashing of the teeth.
During a very early dinner, Sister Gertrude is reading out an incredibly violent story about a woman being tortured whilst everyone's trying to eat soup.
Yeah.
Yet failing.
Failing dismally. And one of the patients has
some teeth in a jar.
in a glass on the table. This infuriates Dr. Gertrude, who then takes them out and throws them on... Sister Gertrude. Sorry.
Will you just say Gertrude?
Gertrude.
You know what's going on now.
Yeah.
We're really struggling with this one.
Really. Takes them out and smashes them on the floor.
Yeah, under a boot. A nun boot.
A nun boot.
And then the same thing
Which causes the kind of higher-ups to start looking at her.
Yes.
As are you going mad? Are you committing crimes?
And then during another dinner, after the man in the wheelchair is found dead, Sister Gertrude yells at someone for basically not being able to hold their spoon properly.
Yeah.
And then they all decide that they're just not going to eat, and as a protest.
There's a very big I'm Spartacus moment of just like, all right, fuck your soup then.
Yes. And then when they've all gone to bed, Sister Gertrude kneels down to pray for the man who died.
In the corridor to get everybody to pray for him.
And then she starts hearing voices.
Yeah. And somebody switches a light off.
Yes.
And she starts freaking out down a corridor.
Yes. And then...
Which goes to nothing, really.
No, and then the next day, she's making everyone do exercises, but too much.
Yeah, and then Dr. Lollapalooza's just like, hey you'll kill them. And everybody who's doing the exercises walks away to reveal the guy on crutches. Why was he even at the exercise?
And then Dr. Lollapalooza goes to complain about Sister Gertrude, and whilst this complaint is happening, an old woman is killed with needles and
to the face,
needles to the face and scalpel.
Yeah.
So they call Sister Gertrude and say, hey, we should have a discussion about this. And then she says, yes, that's fine. And then she looks up and then she sees the body of the murdered woman hanging in a laundry chute.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
Now, this is the two gaps in a row. At one point, a man's head pops out of the corner and then just like disappears.
Yeah.
And then when the body,
like, give me a shot.
And then
Get
when
out
the
a shot.
body falls, you can clearly see the hand like dropping the dummy.
Yeah.
And it was odd.
It was odd for such a kind of meticulously done film.
Yes.
It's very weird that those two gaps and so close to each other as well.
Yeah.
It's like the editor went for a piss and then just came back and just went like, yeah, I'm sure everything's fine.
But the thing is that my first thought was like, it's like someone hiding.
Yeah, right.
It's like part of the movie.
Yeah, maybe.
But then when they cut to the long shot, there's nowhere for that man to have been.
No.
There's...
No, absolutely not. No. Then she's taken in. Gertrude's taken in and has to go and see Mother Superior.
And she's told that they've got to lock her up and medicate her.
Yeah, basically we've got to pay special attention to you. And
during this time, the man on crutches, Sister Gertrude takes away his crutches and makes him crawl up a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
And then in the interim, when he gets to the top of the stairs, he gets kicked to death.
Yes.
But Sister Gertrude has already been under lock and key.
Yeah.
And then Sister Matteo comes on to Dr. Lollapalooza and says, I'm the one that's been stealing the morphine for Sister Gertrude.
Yeah. I had to do it. She's my only friend.
Yeah.
I was trying to help her.
She seduces him. She gets naked. He locks the door. They get it on.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Sister Gertrude realizes what happened with the first murder.
Yeah.
And then...
Which in the flashback, we see that it's not her. She's cowering in a corner in some sort of haze. Well, Sister Matteo, the old switcheroo. Sister Matteo is the killer.
Yeah, I mean...
Which you called about 5 minutes into the movie.
I mean, it's obvious. There's only, two non-characters.
Yeah, and even when the face torture one is happening, the voice who's giggling whilst doing it
and also,
is clearly the younger Sister Matteo.
There's sections throughout the movie of confessions, and the first confession does not sound like Anita Ekberg, and the second confession does not sound like Anita Ekberg, and when they get to the big reveal where it's actually Sister Matteo basically confessing that she does this because she hates men because she was molested by her grandfather, you're going... Well, I didn't know about the grandfather stuff, but I knew that she was the murderer.
Yeah, we already knew it was you.
And then it says the end in old Western font.
in proper cowboy font. And that was that.
That was the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And I quite liked it.
I mean, it's not terrible. It was just a little bit too drawn out for my liking.
Yeah, I would give it that.
There's some scenes that probably didn't need to happen.
Name a scene that didn't need to happen?
Maybe not full scenes, but it's just so fucking drawn out.
I think it's because the switcheroo is so obvious.
Yeah, you're just kind of waiting for when are we going to go to the firework factory?
I thought
it would have been better had they figured it out halfway through, and then it's actually about Sister Gertrude trying to out Sister Matthew.
Yes.
That would be more interesting.
There's a lot of when Sister Mathieu comes to Sister Gertrude and she's got the bloody veil and says, "Yes, but it's got your name around it. This is your bloody veil. I won't tell anyone."
That's pretty much when you know.
I was pretty much like, going, okay, so she's gaslighting her.
Yeah. Yeah,
she clearly did it.
I pretty much know how this is going to play out from here on out, and it plays out exactly how you think it's going to.
This would have been a much better twist if the twist had happened halfway through, and then it had turned into a different movie.
Yeah.
Did you see this movie called Proxy? I know that they talked about it on Red Letter Media. Okay. It was one of those movies that Jay watched, so you can probably imagine the kind of movie it is. It's about this woman in a lesbian relationship who is sort of addicted to having miscarriages.
Okay.
And she joins a support group for women who've lost their babies and makes friends with a woman. And when she finds out that her friend is maybe not all she claims to be, there's a very violent episode. But this is half the movie.
Right.
After the major violent incident, because I don't want to spoil it because I think it's a pretty good film.
Yeah.
Shout out to my friend Christina, who's in the movie. When it turns into the other movie, it's like pretty interesting. Because normally, like, I think this is the Killer Nun is the kind of movie where it's like, they stretch the first 45 minutes of a movie into a whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, you're ahead of it for the most part.
Yeah, it's like,
which is really bad.
It's like a Stuart Lee joke.
Yeah. But whereas it should be like the Kevin Smith idea of Red State. It was like, as soon as you think you've got a handle on it, it switches into something else.
Yeah, it's the same way Hereditary
That's why Red
works,
State is probably Kevin Smith's best film. Because you're never ahead of the movie. Like, it's constantly changing.
I think that's like good. That's a good horror movie when you basically think it's going to go one way and then it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It goes somewhere else.
Yeah, even like Knives Out, I think it's like that.
I didn't see Knives Out
because Knives Out, you actually, again, without spoiling it, you actually kind of know what happened about halfway through the film, and then actually the second half of the film is this whole other thing, and it's great.
Did you see this one that's on Netflix? It's called Wounds. It's set in New Orleans.
Okay.
And when I first started watching it, I thought, I don't know. It made me kind of pine for going back to New Orleans because I like New Orleans a lot.
Right.
Like, it's a fun town, not much of a party town, as Principal Skinner once said.
Yeah.
But my experience has been quite the opposite. I went on a tiki crawl last time I was there. I was hungover most of the time. It was pretty...
Yeah, sounds fun.
It was fun. But when I first started watching Wounds, I really didn't like it. I really was like going, I don't know, I'm not sold on this. And actually, the ending was kind of weird, but I found it quite satisfying.
Okay.
The only thing I didn't like about Wounds was that I can't look at Dakota Johnson anymore because she's going out with the guy from Coldplay, and it bothers me intensely.
Yeah.
Because she's clearly quite talented. Yeah. And I don't understand... Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I just don't understand Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in much, but I remember appreciating her quite a lot.
I don't understand Dakota Johnson.
Well...
I'm never going to meet her, so
maybe he's, blessed.
Maybe he is blessed. Maybe he's like Fran Healy from Travis.
Well, they're both in... utterly fucking terrible.
Yes, but I've met Fran Healy, and Fran Healy's a lovely bloke.
Okay,
like he's like genuinely like, it's like I want to hate you, but I can't anymore.
Yeah, nothing leads me to think so far. I mean, I don't know him. I've never met him, but nothing leads me to think that Chris Martin is anything other than a tit.
I'm sure he's lovely, but he's like.
He just seems pious.
Oh, what? No, it's not that. It's like don't put any salt on that. That's too spicy for me. That's Coldplay.
Yeah, very much so. Let's take all the worst, blandest bits of YouTube songs and make a career out of it.
What's the soup of the day? Broccoli. bread. The soup of the day is bread.
So tomato soup. Ooh, I don't know about that.
I don't know. It's a bit spicy for me.
A bit fruity for my liking.
Oh, but tomatoes. That's foreign.
Yeah.
That's how Coldplay fans are. I'm talking about you. I'm talking to you, about Clodplay. I'm gonna have to cut this out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to cut so much of that out.
Where were we?
Anyway, Kill a Nun.
We were at the end. We were at the end of the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, the surprise switcheroo isn't a surprise at all because you've already figured it out.
Yes.
20 minutes into the movie. I mean, nicely made, apart from the gaffs. Looks good. I assume the acting's good. Again, you have that disconnect because it's dubbed.
Well, apart from that one bit where it just switched into Italian for
literally 30 seconds. There's some very lovely looking ladies in it, which is always a bonus. Some of them take the clothes off.
There's a big penis as well.
There is a big penis, which, I don't know about you, it keeps flashing away from it and then back to it and then away from it and then back to it. Every time it flashed back to that naked corpse, I could only ever stare at his dick.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what else was going on in that scene. It's just a dick.
That guy was like he had
a sweet dick.
He had a pretty big dick. Yeah. It's like it's right there.
Yeah, constantly.
It's not as if you're like, oh, I'm going to look at his nipples. It's just like some guy's big soft dick.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else, where my eyes are supposed to be.
You can't not look at it, it's like an eclipse.
It's it's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen many penises outside of pornographic movies and regular movies and the internet.
I see them every day. At work.
That's a lie. Yeah, so it's right there. So there's a big dick. If ladies...
If that's what you're into, big soft dick of a corpse.
Big soft corpse dick. And
I like their second album, actually.
They're a grindcore band.
Big soft corpse dick, yeah.
And if you like naked Italian women with large breasts...
There's certainly one of those in this.
You know who would like this movie, Steve? Men?
Right.
I don't think there's much to say about it, really.
Let's put some scores on some doors.
We went off topic. Dakota Johnson, I don't...
Stop it.
I can't...
You're going to have to cut all that out anyway, so there's no point in re-mentioning it.
All right. What would you give it for story, Steve?
Well, I don't know. There isn't really much of one.
What? There's a story.
Well, there is one, but it's not much.
If this was a novel, if this was like a little novella by a Stephen King or something, I would say it was pretty good. Not great.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to go a 3. I'm going right down the middle with... And I think a 3 is generous.
Yeah. See, I'm not sure, because we saw it coming so easily.
But I would...
Is that because of the story, or is that because of the creativity?
I would put that in the creativity pile.
Alright, I'll go with a 3. I mean, it's not super interesting.
Well, you don't have to give it a 3.
No, but I'm just trying to think. It's not super interesting, but then it's, it's quite good that it's nuns and that.
Well, this is my favourite exploitation subgenre.
Nuns.
The nunsploitation movie.
Nunsploitation.
I don't know why. Maybe it's because I was raised in a religious
household.
household.
It's because you were raised in a religious and school.
Yeah.
I think that's 100% why. You're stupid to think it's anything else.
I think it's because you had a religious upbringing, Tony, and you're a pervert.
Yeah, you were raised to be scared of God.
You got my number.
No, I'm going to go 2 actually, because it wasn't complicated. There wasn't really any twists and turns to the story itself. So yeah, 2.
Gore.
Was there any?
Yeah, there was the brain operation and the face.
Yeah, but the brain operation looked fucking stupid. The face looked pretty decent. 1 for the face.
Yeah, I think 1 is...
Yeah, the brain operation looked fucking stupid. Looked like somebody cutting into some rubber.
Alright. For the creativity.
Okay, well that gets a bit better. I think 3. 3 erring on 4.
I'm going to give it a 4. It only loses 1 point because I saw for the gaffs and the twist.
Yeah, I'd go with that. I mean, it was creepy. Straight out.
Yeah, I mean,
you got like the nuns coming in.
It looked great. It was a great looking movie. I think everyone everyone
did what they were supposed to do.
I was in the world.
Yes,
it did.
Very much so.
It did it that well.
Yeah.
So what do you? I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Same.
That. Yeah.
Sense. Was there anything that didn't make sense?
They seemed to be random people she was killing, as opposed to, I hate all men, because that's essentially a justification at the end, or during the confessions, is I just hate all men because I was touched up as a kid. But she doesn't hate all men. And the ones that she does kill just seem to be like, just happenstance. Like the first one is just like he just happens to be in the room, so she whacked him in with the lamp. the dude having sex was just an old guy getting his rocks
No,
off.
I think this is the. I think
It wasn't like he was molesting the other woman.
I disagree. I think
the other one was clearly offering herself up for him.
I think the first one was her thinking, because he was trying to help Anita Ekberg into the bed, right? Because she'd like passed out on the floor in a morphine stupor.
Yeah.
So when she walked in, when Sister Mathieu walked in, she thought, "Oh, this guy's trying to molest her," and she just freaked out and killed him.
Okay.
So, and then the second guy did have sex with the nurse, and she doesn't see consent or anything. The woman...
You're assuming that.
Yes, I'm assuming that those first two, I would say, are thematically connected to the story. The third one, I don't remember why they killed that woman. Was it because she was the one who couldn't hold a spoon? And she was
I guess, but then
but it doesn't. It doesn't connect to the main.
No, exactly.
It doesn't connect to the. It only connects because she kind of disrespected.
Yeah.
Sister Gertrude.
And I don't see that the consensual sex one would link.
Yeah, but you could make an argument for it. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's no.
You can also make an argument against it.
But you can.
It's not. If her madness is due to the molestation thing when she was a kid, I don't think she would see consensual sex like it was.
There's both
between a dude in a wheelchair and a woman clearly offering herself up.
Yeah, but
the dude in the wheelchair. I don't think she would then be like, "I need to kill that dude."
But what I'm saying is that there is more of a connection between the first two than the last two.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a connection for the killer with the second one. Maybe the first one.
Well, there's more of a connection. I'm not saying there is because I have no evidence for it. But if I was to
if that was the case, then anybody she ever was to come across who had sex would be on her hit list. Yeah,
but there's only one person that has sex in the hospital. What I'm saying is that there's could be connected. I'm not saying they are. I'm saying those first two could be connected. But the third and fourth one, like, why does she kick the man with crutches to death?
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be.
Why does she?
That's not connected at all. Maybe that's just escalating madness and he's a man. I don't know. So to me, it doesn't make any sense.
Because he asks, well, everything. Yeah, I guess you're right here. Some of it makes sense, but not all of it. So
yeah, and I don't even think it makes as much sense as you do. Yeah,
but aside from the questionable motive,
the story itself,
the movie itself, like when it got to the end, you go, "Oh yeah, she's crazy."
Yeah, she's had traumatic stuff in her past.
Yeah,
her brain has snapped. She's a murderess.
It's not like other ones we've seen where basically it's just like batshit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they are trying to provide her with some sort of
motivation.
Motivation as opposed to motive. Yes. So I'd probably go 2. It doesn't make an awful lot.
Yeah, I think 2. I think 2 is fair.
The events following that kind of make sense, and everybody else's motivations kind of make sense, but the actual motives for the murders don't make sense to me.
That's fair. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yes.
Music.
Not much. Nothing really stood out to me, personally. I'm sure we're going to differ on this.
Yeah.
There was nothing particularly interesting or exciting for me in this. 2.
2. I'm going to give it the full 5.
Because, of course, you are.
It was great. It was the best part.
Because it was Italian proggy nonsense.
But it was more grand than Italian proggy nonsense.
Well, there was the whole kind of religious.
Yeah, the big choirs, the weird sound.
That shit just creeps me out.
It was awesome. It was awesome, and I'm very tempted to go buy this as soon as I'm home tonight, because I was like, yeah, I would totally like to own this record.
Right.
Like, I think it's like some of the best music out. I think, how many 5s have I given? 1 to Fabio Frizzi?
Possibly.
I think I didn't even give that a 5.
Yeah.
I think I gave it a 4 for being
because I don't think you even gave a 5 to the one awesome fucking funk band in it.
No, that was
I'm pretty sure I went 5 on that one.
I'm giving it. I'm a 5. So 2 for you, a 5.
Woohoo! Well, you just put your thumb on the scale of this score.
Well, sort of. It kind of balanced out for 26 out of 50.
I mean, in just today's films, yes, I would put that higher than Island of Death. I'd be more tempted to watch this again than Island of Death.
Yeah.
I think it probably should be higher than Island. I don't think there should be 1 point between the two of them. It's definitely better than Island of Death.
Yeah. I also
just
think...
above average. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think this would be a good one to remake if you could capture the mood.
Yes, because that's actually at least 50% of this movie is the creepiness of it and the sleaziness of it. You would have to fix a couple of things, though.
I don't think
you would have to hide that twist a lot better, or do what we said and make this the first half of the movie, and then do something else for the second half. But I think that would be quite easy to do, to be honest.
Would you recommend the movie, Steve?
Difficult. I don't think I would, to be honest. I enjoyed watching it, but I can't think of a scenario in my head other than somebody saying, hey, I've got this movie, should I watch it? And even in that situation, the thing would be like, yeah, it's alright. It wouldn't be like yeah, you should totally watch that.
I would wholeheartedly recommend the movie.
It's not like somebody bringing in The Burning and going like, should I watch this? I'd be like, fuck yeah, watch The Burning, that shit's dope.
I think it would be a...
If I didn't know you, or if I didn't know you as well, I would recommend this to you.
Yeah, but I would like I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Like I'm a little bit weirded out by the fact, but I think it's basically that I liked it and you didn't really like it, and so it kind of evened out in a kind of like just above average score.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to elevate by saying yes, definitely watch Killer Nun. I really liked it, but also don't blame me if you don't like it because I think Steve has warned you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's that then.
Cool.
All right, so we see you next time.
Oh, I know what's next.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, boy.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time where we will be a lot more high energy, baby.
Okay. Bye.